Hi again. Hi, everyone, and warm welcome to this webinar. As the subject might be relatively new and somehow unfamiliar to some of our audience, I've tried to accompany my talk with some video clips related to our subject of discussion. At the beginning, before I start my presentation, I would like that you see part of the clip that I have prepared to better prepare you for grasping what follows in my talks. I've also inserted some photos and video clips within my PPT presentations to further clarify the points being discussed. I should also mention here that I am no expert in the field, just very much enthusiastic about it and probably somehow well read in this area. I always follow these materials. Therefore, if I make mistakes or if I cannot put myself very well across, I do apologize beforehand. I do too expect to have some discussion at the end of the presentation to see how possible are the topics presented during the talk. Okay. As I said, we will start with some clip at the beginning. I don't think you need me anymore. Just please tell me if you have any problem with the video being played. Not yet, of course, it's not been played yet.
Today, we're going to talk about the metaverse. I want to share what we imagine is possible. The experiences you'll have, the creative economy we'll all build, and the technology that needs to be invented, as well as how we're going to all do this together. The next platform and medium will be even more immersive.
It's like a shop.
Some call it skill.
Keep talking.
An embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just looking at it. And we call this the metaverse. Everything we do online today, connecting socially, entertainment, games, work, is going to be more natural and vivid. Whoa, that's a little too realistic. Now this is more my style. We believe the metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet. And you're going to be able to do almost anything you can imagine. All right, perfect.
Boy.
Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Mark. What's up, Mark?
This place is amazing.
The feeling of presence. This is the defining quality of the metaverse. You're going to really feel like you're there with other people. You'll see their facial expressions, you'll see their body language, maybe figure out if they're actually holding a winning hand. All the subtle ways that we communicate that today's technology can't quite deliver.
I knew you were bluffing.
Avatars will be as common as profile pictures today, but instead of a static image, they're going to be living 3D representations of you. Beyond avatars, there is your home space. Your home is your personal space from which you can teleport to anywhere you want.
Koi fish that fly? That's new.
This is wild. The metaverse isn't something we're building so much as it's something we're building for.
Across the industry, we need to bring that same imagination and commitment to building for interoperability, openness, safety, and privacy as we do for all the other product aspects of the metaverse. These have to be fundamental building blocks, just like the other software and experiences that we've been talking about. Our hope, though, is that if we all work at it, then within the next decade, the metaverse will reach 1 billion people, host hundreds of billions of dollars of digital commerce, and support jobs for millions of creators and developers. We are fully committed to this. It is the next chapter of our work, and we believe for the internet overall. Beyond the constraints of screens, beyond the limits of distance and physics, beyond any one company, and that will be made by all of us. And I'm just incredibly energized to be on this journey with all of you. That was fun.
Good job, Mark.
Okay. I hope you didn't have any problem watching the video. I don't know whether you can talk or not, but at least you can type. So please give me feedback if there is any problem watching the videos or anything. Okay, thank you. Now, Metaverse and the future of education. I hope that you got a glimpse of what Metaverse is from the movie you saw. So as you see, meta is for beyond or future, and verse, the universe. So we are dealing with the future of the universe, or a universe beyond ours. It's not easy to understand Metaverse, mostly because it doesn't exist yet. Many companies are now talking about it. Facebook, already Meta, as you know, Facebook has started the Metaverse. Microsoft, Google, Apple, Nvidia, Sony, PlayStation, VR helmets, Epic Games, and it has led to an increasing lexicon used to describe the next generation of the internet. So as we will see, Metaverse is the next generation of the internet, an internet into which you enter, okay? It is not at the palm of your hand. It is not on your laptop. You enter the internet. Let's define Metaverse first. Currently, internet experience is two-dimensional, i.e. you browse and scroll through it on a screen. The Metaverse is 3D. You'll be walking through it via connected gadgets like headsets or glasses. It is unclear whether there will be one metaverse or many different separate metaverses, but there seems to be one constant. The metaverse is an immersive next generation version of the internet, likely rendered by virtual or augmented reality technology. The venture capitalist Matthew Ball, whose writing on the metaverse has influenced Mark Zuckerberg, describes the metaverse as a successor state to the mobile internet and a platform for human leisure, labor, and existence at large. Meet your digital twin. Mirror world. A mirror world is a digitally rendered version of the real world where there are virtual counterparts of real-life people, places, and things. Mirror worlds are often found in sci-fi, including Netflix's Stranger Things, The Matrix film series, and the novel and film Ready Player One. If you have seen these movies, you probably have a better grasp of what I am talking about. The metaverse could be a mirror world designed to precisely reflect the physical world, or could resemble an entirely invented world one might encounter in video games. Skeuomorphic design. The term essentially means that virtual objects will be made to closely resemble real-world ones. The metaverse could resemble the physical world in that it will often appear tethered to the physics and designs of our reality, but it doesn't have to be identical to it. The digital twin. A digital twin is a virtual version of a real-life object or structure. The term was first introduced in 1991 book Mirror Worlds by David Glenter. Digital twin technology was first used by NASA to run simulations of space capsules in 2010. Microsoft, in particular, has emphasized the need for digital twin technology in building the metaverse. Avatar. An avatar is your persona in a virtual world. This digital rendering of your appearance may look like you, resemble a cartoon, as popularized as Snapchat's Bitmoji. This first set of icons are from Bitmoji, and Apple's Memoji, and the white ones from Apple Memoji, or appear as fantastic as Fortnite's skins, that with the blue background. What's the difference between VR, AR, MR, and XR? Extended reality, XR, refers to all real and virtual environments generated by computer technology and wearables. The X in XR is a variable that can stand for any letter. Eventually, the lines between VR, AR, and MR might blur as the metaverse becomes a reality, making XR a more appropriate term. Virtual reality, VR, encompasses all immersive experiences. These could be created using purely real-world content, 360-degree videos, purely synthetic content, computer-generated, or a hybrid of both. Augmented reality, AR, is an overlay of computer-generated content on the real world that can superficially interact with the environment in real time. With AR, there is no occlusion between CG, means computer-generated content, and the real world. Mixed reality is an overlay of synthetic content that is anchored to and interacts with objects in the real world in real time. Mixed reality experiences exhibit occlusion in that the computer-generated objects are visibly obscured by objects in the physical environment. Mixed reality, MR, incorporates elements of VR and AR. There are some sketches at the bottom of the PowerPoint. I wish you can see them and it is visible for you, that it shows the differences between these kind of realities, okay? So mixed reality, as I said, incorporates elements of VR and AR, but the exact definition is not clear. A person can interact with virtual and real world objects, and virtual objects can interact with real world ones. For example, the Snapchat hot dog can dance across a table without falling off the edges. Extended reality, XR. Extended reality is a catch-all term for VR, AR, and MR, concepts that often overlap. Eventually, the lines between VR, AR, and MR might blur as the metaverse becomes a reality, making XR a more appropriate term. Navigating the many metaverses. Neil Stephenson is an author. He coined the term metaverse in his 1992 science fiction. So this metaverse is not a new word. It's been coined by Stephenson in 1992 in his novel Snow Crash, which envisions a virtual reality-based successor to the internet. In the novel, people use digital avatars of themselves to explore the online world, often as a way of escaping a dystopian reality. Now, as you see, in that time, the world is a dystopia for them. Not a utopia, but a dystopia that people are escaping from that terrible world. Massively multiplayer online role-playing game, or MMORPG. These are interactive games that form the basis of what many feel will be the metaverse. Millions of people interact in shared spaces, playing games, building things, visiting virtual shops, and even going on to concerts. These are just now happening. Some virtual concerts and many games are being done with people taking part in them already. Examples include Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, or the NFT-based Axie Infinity. Oculus and Horizon Workrooms. Facebook bought Oculus for $2.3 billion in 2014. While it's been a leading VR platform for years, Oculus may now be the portal for many hoping to peek at Facebook's vision for the metaverse. Facebook has already introduced a virtual work experience called Horizon Workroom, a short VR version of Zoom with legless avatars. There's a clip here. You can have a glimpse of what a Horizon Workroom
I just
might
had a
look
meeting
like.
with Mark Zuckerberg. We talked about the future of work. I took notes on my laptop with my ghost hands. That's because we were meeting in VR with Facebook's new workspace called Horizon Workrooms. Horizon Workrooms is a VR app, and to use it, you need an Oculus Quest 2 headset. This is Facebook's VR headset that's been out since last fall. The idea is that you put this on, and then all of a sudden you're in some sort of a workspace with a whole bunch of other people moving around and talking and sitting at your desks. There have been other VR apps like this. Spatial has something like this that I've tried in the past year or so, where you get to meet with people and you get to walk around virtual things. Microsoft has a new tool called Microsoft Mesh that's looking to do a similar thing with holographic avatars in AR and VR. But where Facebook's Horizon Workrooms gets a lot weirder and more interesting is that it takes your computer with you and your desk. So when I did the demo, I had to scan my desk as part of the experience. Oculus actually had this tool built into the Quest 2 to bring your desk and even some keyboards into VR to type and work on that screen that you're wearing on your face. Now, Workrooms also pulls off another trick. It casts your computer screen into the VR experience. And what it feels like is it displays a hovering screen in front of your desk, kind of like a disembodied monitor. Between that and my keyboard, which I could see floating in front of me, I felt like I had a computer that I could work on. I was working in Slack, I was doing Google Docs stuff while I was attending the meeting, which was crazy. That's the thing about VR right now is you put on the headset and then you're trapped in this world where you can't get back to your other devices. If you're diving into this virtual universe, why can't you take your other tech tools with you? The other thing you can do in Horizon Workrooms is draw on a whiteboard. There's a really clever trick where your controller can flip around and become a marker in the world. So if I write on my actual desk, it turns into a drawing that I can then post onto the whiteboard. And even the table that you're sitting at can change configurations. We were all sitting at this multifaceted circular table that looked like we were all together, but I could feel my own desk surface. That can reconfigure into a different type of conference room table, or even rows like a classroom, where suddenly we were all looking at a whiteboard, and then we went back again. But it's pretty much a seated experience. Facebook's starting with laptops, and it's a beta app, so things were a little weird. Like Mark Zuckerberg dropped in to talk to me, and a bunch of other reporters in that room.
The idea is like, you go in wherever you are, you can have your perfect setup, you can have all your different monitors. People can stop in and collaborate quickly, but it's really great for kind of focused work. And that will get better over time. The second area is around collaboration, which is really what this is focused on, which is the notion that like we shouldn't really have to physically be together to feel present or collaborate or brainstorm.
Sometimes my hands didn't always move the way I wanted them to. There's hand tracking, which happens via the Oculus Quest 2 front cameras. So you can move your hands around, point at people, or wave. Sometimes that drops out or it gets a little jittery. It might look like I was raising my hand when I wasn't. And then finally, there's the fact that you're a cartoon avatar. Now that's because when you're working in VR, there's no camera that's looking at what you really are looking like in the real world. Now, in a whole world full of Zooms and Hangouts and FaceTimes, we're used to seeing ourselves flat and our actual faces. VR flips that so that you're able to move around, but you lose your actual face. Eventually, Facebook wants to develop super realistic avatars that approximate our real world selves. Or maybe at some point, AR glasses can find a way to scan us with cameras and show that part too. But that's why when you look at what I'm doing in this work app, it looks cartoonish, because it's the best thing that can happen right now. What you gain in that sense that I can look around at the table, I lose that sense of, hey, that reporter I know, what's he really looking at? Or Mark Zuckerberg, is that him? I believe it's him. Sounds like him. Actually, Mark Zuckerberg also appeared on a video chat beforehand and then beamed in as the avatar. Now, what's particularly interesting about Horizon.
Okay, I hope that has given you a clue of what a workroom, a virtual one, looks like. The next topic or word that is used in this world is the Second Life, an online virtual world introduced in 2003. Second Life is an early example of social experience in the metaverse. Although not quite an MMORPG, it's not designed for gameplay. Second Life remains an open world social network with avatars. The metaverse might resemble a VR version of Second Life. And then we have the non-fungible tokens, NFTs, blockchain-based certificates of authentication for digital objects, which could allow proof of ownership of goods in the metaverse. So in the digital world, you can buy, sell, and have transactions with other people. Even now, many people are buying lands in the digital world, lands that are not, or objects that are not available. Now, this short clip here, again, will give you a hint of what non-fungible tokens or NFTs are.
NFT stands for non-fungible token. Non-fungible means that something cannot be exchanged for another item because it is unique. For instance, one piece of art is not equal to another. Both have unique properties. Fungible items, on the other hand, can be exchanged for one another. For instance, $1 or Bitcoin is always equal to another. Okay, but what is an NFT? NFTs are tokens that live on a blockchain and represent ownership of unique items. Why is that helpful? Well, tracking who owns a digital file is tricky because it can be copied and distributed effortlessly. So how can you prove who's the original owner when everyone has an identical copy of the file? NFTs solve this problem. Imagine that you made a piece of digital art, essentially a JPEG on your computer. You can create or mint an NFT out of this. The NFT that represents your art contains a bit of information about it.
What happened?
NFT stands for non-fungible. Recorded in anything that is NFT, but he can still sell print. Token owner owns the heck. Most of the time, everyone can download a copy for free. The NFT only represents ownership, and that is recorded in a blockchain so nobody can tamper with it. Some say that NFTs give you digital bragging rights. And to make it even weirder, while the token owner owns the original artwork, the creator of the NFT retains the copyright and the reproduction rights. So an artist can sell his original artwork as an NFT, but he can still sell prints. Now, aside from digital art, NFTs can also be used to sell concert tickets, domain names, rare in-game items, real estate, and basically anything that is unique and needs proof of ownership. For example, the founder of Twitter sold his first tweet as an NFT. Anyone can see that tweet on his profile, but now only one person can own it, and that person paid over $2.9 million for it. I could even make an NFT out of this video. You could then buy it and be the owner of this video, even though it is free to watch for everyone. Now, why are some NFTs worth millions? Well, their worth is determined by what people are willing to pay for it. If I'm willing to pay $100 for a particular NFT, then it's worth $100. Prices are driven by demand, so be careful. An expensive NFT becomes worthless if nobody wants to buy it. Okay, one more thing before we end. How do they work technically? NFTs are essentially smart contracts that live on a blockchain. In this case, the contract stores the unique properties of the item and keeps track of current and previous owners. An NFT can even be programmed to give royalties to the creator every time it exchanges hands. So there you have it, NFTs explained in under 4 minutes. I hope you found this interesting.
Okay, so as you see, many people may just be surprised how come that you're going to pay a lot of money to something that do not exist, something which is digital. But if you think twice, you see many people are right now paying a lot of money for things that other people may not give even a penny, like just Mona Lisa has been priced so millions of dollars. Why is it so? It doesn't really, because it's a piece of art, and in the digital world, people will be willing to pay for things simply because they own it, and it has a unique ID which is traceable. So it will be possible, and it is right now being done. Now, let's see what do we have ahead of us in the future. The future is already here. It's not just evenly distributed. And this is said by William Gibson, and it's a very interesting sentence. As you see, there are many instances of futuristic gadgets and many other things that not all people have access to it yet, but for sure in the future this will be probably more evenly distributed. Examples of the things that we think they belong to future but already are available. Lab-made diary products are available now. Digital twins replicates what is happening to an actual specific product in the real world. This is happening. We do have digital twins of many products. Many factories are using these digital twins. to evaluate their products before they make it. Artificial eyes, bionic eyes. Recently, I heard that even in Iran, this kind of technology was used, and an old woman could see again simply because of something like this. Airport for drones and flying taxis, energy storing bricks, smart bricks, store energy like batteries, bricks of the future, so they will store energy for us. Self-healing living concrete, hard to imagine, hard to believe, but it is being made using sand, gel, and bacteria. Living robots, hybrid robots made using stem cells, living programmable organisms. Tactile virtual reality. Look, unfortunately, there is not enough time so that I can go into detail with each of these items. But if you are interested in any one of them, you can just simply search them in the Google, and you will see that what an amazing advances are just now available for people. Tactile virtual reality, flexible material fitted with tiny vibrating components that can be attached to skin. This is what makes it possible one day that even when you go to the virtual world, you can even touch things and you can feel what you touch. Starlink, Elon Musk's SpaceX project, Internet for Everyone, as probably you have all heard about that. Artificial neurons on chip. Scientists have found a way to attach artificial neurons onto silicon chips, mimicking the neurons in our nervous system, copying their electrical properties. This has already been done. People working in this area have been able to implant a chipset into the brain of a monkey, and a monkey which has been paralyzed and couldn't walk, and a chipset in his legs, and connecting these two chipsets implanted in the brain and the legs of the monkey has been able to walk again. So this is the future is really here. Neuralink, co-founded by Musk in 2016, is developing a chip that would be implanted in people's brain to simultaneously record and stimulate brain activity. It is intended to have medical applications such as treating serious spinal cord injuries and neurological disorders. Musk says, Neuralink working well in monkeys, and we are actually doing just a lot of testing and just confirming that it's very safe and reliable, and the Neuralink device can be removed safely. He adds, we hope to have this in our first humans, which will be people that have spinal cord injuries. Now let's talk about AI, artificial intelligence. Another very important topic when we speak about future is artificial intelligence. AlphaGo, as you might have probably heard about, is the first computer program to defeat a professional human Go player, the first to defeat a Go world champion, and is arguably the strongest Go player in history. Go is known as the most challenging classical game for artificial intelligence because of its complexity. As you see in the photo, that the possibilities of a movement are endless. Each movement you make will make it possible for you to have so many other moves, and that is what makes it very complicated for humans and, of course, computers if they are not intelligent. Since Go is a game of profound complexity, according to Google, there are this number, I cannot read the number. There's a huge possibilities. There are this much possible positions. You see how complicated it is. AlphaGo plays the game, reinforcing its neural networks by adjusting the connections using trial-error processes. AI is the ability of a machine to display human-like capabilities such as reasoning, learning, planning, and creativity. There are different types of AI. There are software and embodied AI. The software examples are like virtual assistants, image analysis software, search engines, speech and face recognition systems. These are all examples of AI when it is related to software. Embodied AIs are examples are robots, autonomous cars, drones, Internet of Things. Internet of Things itself needs a complete webinar to talk about. Each of the topics that I am introducing really needs hours of talking. I'm just introducing, I'm just showing the tip of the iceberg of what's happening in the world. And unfortunately, we are not aware of. AI in everyday life, like verb search, digital personal assistants, your smartphones, machine translations, smart homes, cities, smart cities and infrastructures, smart cars. These are all examples of the artificial intelligence in our daily life. Cybersecurity, which is an important topic again, when we talk about internet and communication, cybersecurity is an important concept. AI systems can help recognize and fight cyber attacks and other cyber threats based on the continuous input of data, recognizing patterns and backtracking the attacks, fighting disinformation. Certain AI applications can detect fake news and disinformation. You see, the internet is free. Everyone can put any information they like. Even nowadays, we have fake people, fake faces, and they're working on fake videos. You know, the whole body will be faking something. For example, they have matched a very competent dancer on a person who has never been able to dance, and they've made a video. It is as if that person who doesn't know how to dance is a very very professional dancer. These are possible. Now you can just make a fake video of yourself doing things that you have never been able to do. And there are certain AI will help us to find out whether this is a fake news video or anything or authentic. So health, researchers are studying how to use AI to analyze large quantities of health data and discover patterns that could lead to new discoveries in medicine and ways to improve individual diagnostics. When it comes to medicine, it's really mind-blowing what is going to happen in the future and what possibilities the AI and new technologies and quantum computing, that we will talk about it in a few seconds, will bring about in the health of people. Manufacturing, using robots in manufacturing, optimizing sales path, or on-time predicting main factories. In the future, nobody will hire you because of what you know. Why? Because Google knows everything. Nobody wants our knowledge anymore. Okay, this is what education discussion is just coming to focus. You know, in the future, so you have to be able to have sort of creativity to know what to do with your knowledge. Otherwise, the knowledge itself is available at the palm of hand of everyone with a Google device, with the devices equipped with Google. So you will be hired because of your ability with what you do with your knowledge, not because of the knowledge itself. To work with problems and coming up with solutions will be important. In other words, learning should be problem-based. So problem-based learning will be much more important. Simulations will create a safe environment to experiment, fail and try again, fail, try again, fail and try again. Suppose a student wants to learn something. Within a simulation, he can do that job experiment so many times, he can fail and try again, fail and try. This is not possible in the actual world, but in a simulation, it is very much easily done. SaaS, or software as service, web-based learning management software. There are so many of them available right now. I have given some examples here, like Learning Bank. If you search any of these, you can find a lot of information on each of them. It is not possible for me to talk about them now within this very time limit. Learn Worlds, Illumi, Absorb LMS, Leapsum, Thinkific, eFront, Cornerstone LMS, Talent LMS, and so on and so forth. These are just a few of them mentioned here. There are much more. What has been done so far regarding the educational system in different countries? Evidence from 15 years of project work in the United States suggests systematic curriculum redesign using technology-enhanced learning can enable institutions to improve learning outcomes and reduce costs simultaneously. On average, these projects achieved savings of 31%, with 72% of projects resulting in improved student outcomes, with outcomes in other 28% remaining constant. The time has come to evaluate how such approaches can be applied in other countries. Any perception that technology is being used just to cut costs will make it harder for universities and students to benefit from future developments in educational technology. Many experts on teaching and learning and instructional technology are suggesting that a fundamental shift in faculty duties is underway as more technology applications are adopted in higher education. because technology calls into question the professor's role as a knowledge transmitter. Educational reformers such as James Dodderstad, former president of the University of Michigan, suggests that professors should become designers of learning experiences, processes, and environments. According to conventional wisdom in contemporary higher education, the professor has moved from being a sage on the stage to a guide on the side. This individual knows his subject deeply, but is also skilled at constructing situations conducive to learning. Effective utilization instructional technology is part of the 21st century professor's redefined duties. Some accredited institutions of higher education, such as Jones International University, now exist entirely in cyberspace with no campus, classrooms, or athletic teams to tie together the academic community. Technology is going ahead, and it does so exponentially, but education lags behind. Education is about to lose the race to technology because the way we teach has not evolved over centuries. We need a dramatic shift these days. I think we might need a new generation for doing this. Digital education advantages. When it comes to education, everyone is different. Everyone has its own pace, his own interest, path, goal, and destination. Digital education is easily adaptable to these differences. Hybrid education. Hybrid learning combines conventional classroom experiences, experimental and observational learning objectives, and online courses to deliver the best teaching method. In short, hybrid knowledge allows students to take classes both online and in person. Ephemeralization. Ephemeralization, a term coined by R. Buckminster Fuller in 1938, is the ability of technological advancement to do more and more with less and less until eventually you can do everything with nothing. That is, an accelerating increase in the efficiency of achieving the same or more output, products, services, information, etc., while requiring less input, effort, time, resources, etc. Fuller's vision was that ephemeralization will result in ever-increasing standard of living for an ever-growing population despite finite resources. At least quantum computers, which really create endless possibility for us once they are available and at hand for everybody. Quantum computers will be available to mainstream public as soon as mid-2030s. Might be. That question mark doubts it. It may be a little bit sooner or a little bit later than that. But around at that time, they will be available for public. This will enable us, quantum computers will enable us to perform activities that are considered impossible today, below our 9 quantum computer use cases that can greatly impact our lives. Now, before we read that, I think this is a clip. It's not bad to to watch it.
Some people estimate.
I wish there is no problem watching. Everything is okay because I have no feedback. I just check out if is there any problem or everything's okay? Hope everything is okay. So we continue.
Some people estimate that as soon as the mid-2030s, quantum computers could become available to the mainstream public. This would enable us to perform activities that are considered impossible today. Here are 9 quantum computer use cases that could greatly impact our lives. Number 1, faster and more effective artificial intelligence. Quantum computers will transform the field of artificial intelligence since they're able to process vast amounts of data at unparalleled speeds and simulate neural networks of enormous sizes. For certain types of problems, especially the ones that involve optimization, quantum computers can calculate all solutions to those problems simultaneously instead of calculating each solution sequentially like classical computers would. Each of the solutions a quantum computer obtains could have a score associated with it. With all of this information up front, quantum computers can choose among all possible solutions and find the best answer significantly faster than a classical computer could. This could revolutionize machine learning and help us solve complex problems that were previously thought impossible. Additionally, quantum computing and artificial intelligence will continually reinforce each other and accelerate developments in both of those areas. Some people estimate that as soon as 10 seconds, this will be starting. Since quantum computers can perform multiple calculations simultaneously, they have the potential to break any classical encryption system within the next 10 to 20 years. For example, it would take a classical computer 300 trillion years to break the 617 digits of the RSA 2048 standard for encryption. Based on our current trajectory, a fully working quantum computer in the 2030s could potentially achieve this in 10 seconds. This would be so effective at decryption that they could pose a national security risk to all developed nations. New quantum encryption technologies would be required to protect even our most basic online services. Scientists, as well as forward-thinking policymakers, are already working on quantum cryptography so that companies, governments, and citizens can protect their information. Number 8, weather forecasting. Quantum computing's method of simultaneous rather than sequential calculation will likely be successful in analyzing the enormously
Sorry, what happened? I just wanted to maximize the slides, but unfortunately,
risk to all developed nations. New quantum encryption technologies would be required to protect even our most basic online services. Scientists, as well as forward-thinking policymakers, are already working on quantum cryptography so that companies, governments, and citizens can protect their information. Number 8, weather forecasting. Quantum computing's method of simultaneous rather than sequential calculation will likely be successful in analyzing the enormously complex system of variables that is weather. Number 9, manufacturing processes. Quantum computing can help companies streamline operations and manufacturing processes by solving supply chain optimization problems, such as determining the availability and pricing of manufacturing components without interrupting multifaceted supply chains. It can also take large manufacturing data sets and identify which parts of a complex manufacturing process contributed to operational failures. For products like microchips, where this production process can have thousands of steps, quantum computing can have a significant impact. By 2030, the first quantum computers with 1 million qubits will emerge. To find out more about this, make sure to watch the video to the right about the future technologies in the year 2030. Some people estimate that as soon as...
Okay. So as you see, these are things that will be possible for us when we have quantum computers, faster and more effective artificial intelligence, batteries for electric cars that are more energy efficient, development of new drugs, traffic optimization, the creation of new materials used to building airplanes, cars, and many other things, financial modeling, cybersecurity, weather forecasting, and manufacturing processes. That was all. Thank you very much for listening. Of course, there is still just some video clips. If you're not tired, I can play that video clip for you if you prefer. Okay, so let's continue watching the video clip.
Quest. It's going to be compatible with Quest, but Cambria will be a completely new, advanced, and high-end product, and it'll be at the higher end of the price spectrum too. Our plan here is to keep building out this product line to release our most advanced technology before we can hit the price points that we target with Quest. All right, so let's talk about some of the new advances here.
Yeah, there's a ton of new tech going into Cambria. For example, your avatar will be able to make natural eye contact and reflect your facial expressions in real time. This way, people you're interacting with will have a real sense of how you're actually feeling. It does mean building more sensors into a form factor that's comfortable to wear for a while. And because we want VR to be for everyone, we also have to make sure avatars represent a diverse set of human facial features and skin tones, as well as paying attention to things like glasses and mirrors that might in the way of some sensors.
So that's a big step forward for social presence. And
do you have the video? Can you see the video? I don't think so. Now.
higher price too. Our plan here is to keep building out this product line to release our most advanced technology before we can hit the price points that we target with Quest. All right, so let's talk about some of the new advances here.
Yeah, sure. There's a ton of new tech going into Cambria. For example, your avatar will be able to make natural eye contact and reflect your facial expressions in real time. This way, people you're interacting with will have a real sense of how you're actually feeling. It does mean building more sensors into a form factor that's comfortable to wear for a while. And because we want VR to be for everyone, we also have to make sure avatars represent a diverse set of human facial features and skin tones, as well as paying attention to things like glasses and mirrors that might get in the way of some of the sensors.
So that's going to be a big step forward for social presence, and I'm really glad that we're focused on making it inclusive from the start. Now, what about unlocking more mixed reality experiences? I mean, imagine working at your virtual desk with multiple screens while seeing your real desk so clearly that you can pick up a pen and write notes without taking your headset off. Or you're doing a workout with a virtual instructor in your living room.
It's going to be so cool. We're already seeing the potentials of these kinds of experiences today as people are building for our pass-through API. But with Cambria, we'll be taking this to the next level with high-resolution, colored, mixed reality pass-through. We essentially combine an array of sensors with reconstruction algorithms to represent your physical world in the headset with a sense of depth and perspective.
But the ultimate goal here is true augmented reality glasses. And we've been working on that too. And today, I want to show you an experience that we've been working on for Project Nazare, which is the code name for our first full augmented reality glasses. Here, you'll see you're chatting with friends on WhatsApp and planning a game night. You can select a game, and then as you walk over to your kitchen, you can easily just put your game onto the table and you're off. And that's the kind of experience that augmented reality will unlock. There's a lot of technical work to get this form factor and experience right. We have to fit hologram displays, projectors, batteries, radios, custom silicon chips, cameras, speakers, sensors to map the world around you, and more into glasses that are about 5 millimeters thick. So we still have a ways to go with Nazare, but we are making good progress. Over the last year and a half, a lot of us who work in offices have gone remote. And while I miss seeing the people I work with, I think remote work is here to stay for a lot of people. So we're going to need better tools to work together. Let's take a look at what working in the metaverse will be like. Imagine if you could be at the office without the commute. You would still have that sense of presence, shared physical space, those chance interactions that make your day all accessible from anywhere. Now imagine that you have your perfect work setup and you can actually do more than you could in your regular work setup. And on top of all that, you can keep wearing your favorite sweatpants.
Looking good. Let's get together real quick for a debrief.
I'm free now. Let's jump in. Hi.
Hey.
So what do we think?
I think it's ready.
Great.
I'll prep it for the presentation.
All right. Good luck.
Imagine a space where you can tune out distractions and focus on the task at hand. And when you're ready to share what you've been working on, you can present it as if you're right there with the team.
Wait, where's Mark?
I think he's in the middle of something.
I'm Ellen. I'm a first-year med student.
I come from a radiology background.
I am an associate professor of anatomy at Western Reserve University.
At Case, we do a 2-week dissection right at the start of medical school, but there's a lot of things that you miss in dissection that there's just no way to figure out what's a small nerve that you probably cut through.
So there are lots of advantages to using the HoloLens because we can see things that otherwise either the students would not be able to see or might destroy.
But the first time you put on a HoloLens, it's like color coordinated. You can see the layers, you can see the spatial awareness from like different angles. It really makes a lot of things more clear to be able to visualize the relationship between where things are situated and why is it important, which is really incredible for our students.
We did a trial back with our medical students. The students that had been in the HoloLens lab scored 50% better compared to the rest of the med school class.
There's so much that can be done in this interactive way.
If you can have a HoloLens, you can learn anatomy. You don't have to be in the room anymore.
They're learning at the same level or better. They're doing it faster, and they're retaining knowledge better.
We have unlimited options now on how to teach visually.
That's kind of dream stuff as a teacher.
I am a firm believer that it is the next big thing in education.
Interactive 3D models for years now.
Lifelike gives teachers and educators, students the ability to look at objects in multiple different dimensions. So instead of looking at a flat image in a textbook or on a picture, you can see it and rotate it. You can look at how it compares in scale and size.
Our mixed reality experience is something that brings learning even farther.
It was really cool. Like I was able to actually look around and not just look at a flat picture.
You could walk around and it's actually there. It felt like it was actually there.
The visual aspect, the interaction with the lifelike models was also something that made explaining difficult topics much easier for students.
Even with the textbook, we couldn't take them to the inside of a cell. We couldn't have them look at the circulatory system in the same way.
I was looking at a blood vessel and blood components. With the 3D, you could walk around, and then you could see at the back, the top, and you could look at it from different perspectives, so you can understand what you're looking at better.
So we really wanted to make sure that this learning experience goes way beyond just a cool effect, but that it really brings the real value in the classroom.
I think that it makes like learning fun. A lot of kids come to school and they kind of dread school, but I think this will make learning really fun and kind of like you want to do it.
There are students in all of our classrooms who have passions that aren't covered in the traditional curriculum. But things like HoloLens can start getting kids excited about looking at the intersections of art and technology, of coding, and how those are used in industries. The future of technology and education is incredibly exciting, not only for researchers and teachers, but for students.
We are all teachers. And we are all learners.
We each learn in our own way.
Okay, I think we can start a discussion or questions if there are any. I'll be glad to hear about your ideas about the topic. Our discussion can be in English, in Persian, whatever you prefer. بحثامون رو میتونیم به زبان فارسی یا انگلیسی ادامه بدیم، هر طور که به قول معروف شما ترجیح میدهید. نمیدونم، شاید تونسته باشم یک شمه ای از این داستان متاورس و دنیای جدیدی که در جلوی روی ما هست نشون بدم در این وقت بسیار کوتاه و تنگ، با این امکانات بسیار ناقص. البته مثل جعفری، آقای جعفری، من اجازه بدید که الان شما میتونید میکروفونتون رو فعال کنید و سوال یا بحثتون رو بفرمایید.
سلام دکتر، صدای بنده رو دارید؟
بله بله.
خیلی
سلام.
ممنون دکتر بدخشان عزیز، استاد گرامی بنده. استاد من سعی می‌کنم به زبان فارسی بگم، چون احساس می‌کنم ممکنه افرادی هم توی گروه باشن، حالا ممکنه یکی دو نفر سه نفر که انگلیسی ندونن، حالا برای من هیچ فرقی نداره.
آره هیچ فرقی نمی‌کنه زبان، حالا
آره من ترجیح میدم به زبان فارسی باشه و اینکه حالا به خاطر اینکه گفتگوی راه بیفته.
بسیار عالی.
تربیات گفتگو به فارسی باشه. استاد این تمام مواردی که ارائه کردین خیلی عالی بود، از لحاظ اینکه دقیقاً روی لبه علم و تکنولوژی الان ما داریم راه میریم. جایی مثل فیسبوک اومده تمام خود مراحل تکنولوژی خودش رو روی لبه علم سوار کرده. اون سیلیکون ولی که در واقع اپل و فیسبوک و گوگل و خیلی از اون شرکت‌های آمریکایی که تو اون در واقع دره تکنولوژی آمریکا وجود داره، اگه یه موقع یک بلایی سرش بیاد، نصف لپتاپ‌ها و گوشی‌های ما ممکنه نه آپدیت بشه، نه اینکه بتونیم حتی به اینترنت متصل بشیم. چیزی که من الان دارم با توجه به شرایط ایران، یا حتی خودمون داریم که دانشگاه کردستان درس می‌خونیم، یا اساتیدی که دارن تدریس می‌کنم، یه چیزی که به ذهن من میرسه، چه دانشجوها چه افرادی که اساتیدن، حداقل ما که توی ایرانیم، با توجه به این اطلاعاتی که شما دادین میدونم که خیلی محدودیت‌های هزینه وجود داره که ما بتونیم یه ویرچوال ریالیتی توی ایران راه بندازیم. مثلا من حداقل تا جایی که میدونم خیلی از سازمان‌ها برای فعالیت‌های خودشون اینترنت درست حسابی که ندارن، هیچ الان قضیه ویرچوال ریالیتی رو ما اینجا دیدم در حد یه شهر بازی و جاهایی که فقط تجربه ویرچوال ریالیتی رو توی حداقل
صداتون
استاد الان صدای بنده رو دارین؟
بله بله الان خوبه.
الان صدا رو دارین. اوکی. میگم با توجه به شرایطی که ما توی ایران داریم، یا حداقل توی دانشگاه کردستان، اگه بخوایم خیلی 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 قدم‌های اولی رو برداریم که بتونیم روی لبه علم مثل دانشگاه‌های MIT، مثل دانشگاهی که حداقل توی آمریکا وجود دارن، شبیه اونا آموزشمون رو پیش ببریم، چطوری میتونیم به اونا نزدیک بشیم؟ از یه طرفی ما اینترنت خیلی سرعت کافی نداریم، ابزارهایی که قراره بخریم و تهیه کنیم خیلی گرون هستن، و اینکه خیلی از افراد نه تنها تو ایران، تو دنیا با این ویرچوال ریالیتی و این مواردی که در واقع دنیای متاورس میشه، دنیای در واقع آموزش آینده میشه، خیلی آشنایی ندارن. پیشنهاد شما چیه اگه ما بتونیم اجتماع خودمون رو خیلی به دانشگاه آمریکایی نزدیک کنیم؟ که فکر کنم خیلی چیز عجیب غریبی نیست اگه دانش و تکنولوژی رو داشته باشیم، ولی حداقل تو دانشگاه کردستان خودمون اگه بخوام یه همچین چیزی رو در واقع داشته باشیم، پیشنهاد شما چیه؟ هم برای استادا هم برای دانشجوها که بتونیم حداقل به لبه علم یا به لبه فناوری نزدیک بشیم با توجه به این ارائه‌ای که داریم.
نگاه کنید آقای جعفری عزیز، قبل از اینکه این داستان کووید 19 و کرونا پیش بیاد، سر کلاس ها من یادم، شاید به سر کلاس خودتونم حتی گفتم که معمولا من میگفتم هنوز کلاس های آنلاینی اصلا وجود نداشت، خبری نبود از این کلاس ها. من میگفتم که به زودی، مثلا میگفتم 5 سال دیگه 7-8 سال دیگه این کلاس ها اینطوری نمیمونه، همه آنلاین میشه، این روش های سنتی برچیده میشه و اینها. همه خیلی تعجب میکردید یا میکردن و باورشون نمیشد که امکانش باشه که به معروف ما بتونیم آنلاین کلاس ها رو ولی الان میبینید که ما داریم سمینار آنلاین برگزار میکنیم، کلاس های آنلاین برگزار میکنیم. نگاه کنید سرعت پیشرفت تکنولوژی اکسپوننشال هست، تصاعدی هست. یعنی انقدر سریع یه چیزی که اختراع میشه، درست میشه، باعث میشه که درست کردن و استفاده از ابزارهای دیگه خیلی راحت‌تر و امکان پذیرتر بشه. بنابراین نباید ناامید شد چون که ما در ایران داریم زندگی میکنیم دور خواهیم بود و اینها. ممکنه حالا دیرتر و با کیفیت کمتر، با همین آنلاین کلاس های ما اگه یه خورده سرعت اینترنت بالاتر بود چه کارا نمیشد کرد، خیلی خیلی بهتر و با کیفیت بهتری میشد انجام داد. و خب الان آموزش عالی، آموزش پرورش به فکر افتادن که چون دیگه مطمئن باشی دانشگاه ها به وضعیت اولشون بر نمیگردن. این رو خیالتون راحت باشه که حتی اگه کرونا هم تموم بشه، هیچ خبری نباشه، آموزش به هر دو صورت آنلاین و آفلاین صورت خواهد گرفت. به هر حال باید با مسئولین صحبت کرد، بهشون گوش زد کرد، بهشون اطلاعات رو داد که دنیا در این سمت و سو داره میره و باید خودشون رو آماده کنن. اگه خودشون رو آماده نکنن جا میمونن و اگه آدم جا بمونه، کشوری جا بمونه از تکنولوژی و از این پیشرفت ها، دیگه رسیدن بهش بسیار دشوار خواهد بود. به خاطر اینکه دوستان دیگه هم دستشون رو بلند کردن، من
بله دکتر، من سعی می‌کنم اگه حالا در سوالی بود ادامه بدم. میدم دوستان دستشون رو بلند کردن دیگه، وقت اوناست. خیلی ممنون دکتر از پاسختون. متشکرم.
آره که نوبتی بشه، اگه کسی نبود بعدن شما میتونید ادامه بدید.
اوکی، حل. خواهش می‌کنم. دست شما درد نکنه.
آیه دکتر غلامی که خیلی وقت دستشون رو بلند کردن. آیه دکتر غلامی.
Dear Dr. Badakhshan, thank you very much for that informative lecture. Can you hear me possibly?
Yeah, in your nice British accent.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Actually, I just wanted to mention some points. Meta that you were talking about, one sense you correctly referred to, that's beyond, and verse, as you said, stands for universe, right? Beyond the universe. But there is another meaning for meta. Even in, linguistics, we use that in literature. Meta language, is a language, and that is, the relationship between language and reality. Language. Yeah, just disregarding reality, and one sense of metaverse, that sense is present here, or meta-narrative, it's a narrative that talks about a kind of narrative, without necessarily referring to the real world. So in that sense, the world that you are talking about, metaverse, is some sort of independent world in some sense, right? And I just wanted to relate this to the matter of privacy. What happens to the privacy of the poor human beings in this world? It is inevitable. It will, cover the world shortly, and probably this coronavirus, if we are a pessimist, is probably an intentional introduction for that. So can you please tell us a little bit more about what happens to the privacy of the people? Is it worth to sacrifice our privacy to enter that world, or we're just obliged to do it and we don't have any other option? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for your very important and good question. You're quite right. One of the problems that they are talking about is the privacy of the next generation of the internet. But as you mentioned yourself, it is inevitable. You can't really do anything about it. They are thinking of, especially if quantum computers are here, they can help us more for that. But before them, we have to deal with it in one way or another, just as we do with the internet, with the simple internet that we have right now. Can you say, I don't use the internet because I might lose my privacy, I might lose some information, my information? As you know, now Google knows us much more than ourselves. It knows a lot of things about us. They say, nowadays they say, Google can suggest to whom you can marry. If a girl and a boy wants to marry, Google can advise them whether they are a good match for each other or not, because Google knows all the interests, everything about both of them, their interests, what they study, what they read, what they buy, what they watch, what they do, a lot of things, okay? This is some sort of losing privacy, but you can do really anything about it, or at least for now. But later, with quantum computers, there might be a solution.
All right. Thank you very much again for the informative lecture.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for your good question. Mrs. Salimian. Mrs. Salimian, now you can talk. Yeah, I do.
Thank you for your great presentation. I remember 3 years ago, I was a senior BA student, and we had a course with you entitled with using technology in ELT, if you remember. I mean,
yeah, I do.
Yeah, and first session, you entered the class and said, you all gonna lose your job as a teacher unless learn how to use technology. And it was before this pandemic, sir. And yeah,
remember?
We saw that in this pandemic, yeah, lots of private sectors shut down, and they got closed because they couldn't adapt with this, specific situation. And this is very important to adapt our, even in a private sector, with they are much better in, money issues instead of some institutes, but lots of them shut down. And I have a question. How about cyberbullying, sir? How about, this is one question here, in that you're in Metaverse, okay? How about cyberbullying? How about hackers? Are they?
Yeah, your question, I think, is very related to Dr. Gholami's question, sort of related
I mean,
to that
hackers,
question.
how about that data? Are they secured? I mean, I'm just not talking about some specific passwords. You know, Metaverse, you're dealing with a lots of information here, sir. For example, you're going to operate a private meeting with your customer.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
And another, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please go
Another
ahead.
question, sir, about the price, about I mean money issues. You know, we need a good config for our laptops or our operating systems to operate such you know such a world. You know, this is
3D
this is another
programs,
universe. Yes, exactly. We need a great laptop. We need great. Somehow, maybe sometimes we need a great word stuff, you know, not just
sure, of
softwares.
course, you have to update your devices. That's there's no question about that. So unfortunately, that is, if you remember, in one part of my talks, I said future is here, but it is not evenly distributed. If you remember, in part of my presentation, I talked about that many people are unfortunately deprived, but many people, do you see the movie, These Students? They're living in America, in US, and they are using,
they had HoloLens, I remember 3 years ago.
Yeah. Do you remember I talked
3
about
years
them? These
ago
are
you
kids
mentioned.
using
Yes, I
HoloLens.
remember. Yes.
Yeah,
Dr.
I am a
Badachan.
professor at the university, and I don't have enough money to buy a HoloLens.
Yeah.
Something that I wish to have. I have always wished to have. It's yes, Dr. Gholami, sorry.
Dr. Badachan, sorry for intruding. I have a very short answer for him. You know, the matter of privacy and security are not exactly the same thing, you know. In this metaverse, because it works based on blockchain, you know, it has a very high security. You know, blockchain is the same security system which is for cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, right? So there is less fear of being hacked and things because, you know, in blockchain, it's a very reliable, you know, security system. We have data hash, and nobody can, you know, manipulate or change the information or the data. So there's less worry about that, you know. In the metaverse, it will be actually safer than the world.
Especially when it comes to money transaction, and when it comes to buying and selling things, because it is using cryptocurrency, as you said, they're very, very safe. Even
when you
they say almost impossible to be hacked. But probably he mentioned, Soren didn't mean these financial transactions, but the other aspects of the metaverse, not the financial section.
It's not just the financial section. You know, every aspect of it will be, you know, controlled by blockchain. For instance, when you are talking about that, the products, you know, the digital product, NFG, was it, or NF?
Yeah, NFT, non-fungible
right?
tokens.
Yeah, when you create that, you know, it's based on blockchain, you know, so that's why it is valuable, because it is unique.
You know, NFTs, because they can be bought and they can be sold. That's why I say they are financial. But I don't know about other aspects, you know. Even once I talked about brain internet.
Yeah, because, you know, the basic security system for that, I mean, at the metaverse is blockchain, you know. It has got the same security system as the cryptocurrencies. So, you know, in that sense, it is really, really safe. You know, nobody can change it, you know, because if they started blockchain, the data is shared by all the people who are involved in that, and hashed, and the previous hash, it actually makes it, well, not 100%, but 99.99% safe. So we don't need to worry about that. But, the matter of privacy that we talked about is a little bit different, because we transfer some characteristics of our person, real being, to the avatars and the other things, and they are shared, by the other people. So that's a concern, but not the security very much, honestly. Sorry for the interruption.
You're welcome. Thank you for your comment. Do we have other people? If other people have other ideas to share, I'll be glad to discuss. Mr. Jafari, do you want to talk again?
بله، من میخواستم به عنوان آخرین کامنت، معمولا توی جلساتی که ما خودمون میذاریم، آخرین کامنتی که میخوایم بذاریم پیشنهاد برای راه حل اینا میدیم. دکتر، من پیشنهاد شخصا داشتم اینی که معمولا تو جاهایی که تو کشورهای مختلف میخوان راه حل یا مطرح کنن، الان در واقع چالش‌های متاورس اینجا مطرح شد که تو چه کشورهایی داره استفاده میشه، لبه علم کجای دنیا هست، ما تو ایران چی کار میتونیم کنیم. حالا نمیتونیم همیشه بگیم محدودیت اینترنت وجود داره، ما نمیتونیم بریم جلو. علم به هر حال همون اکسپوننشال تکنولوژی تصاعدی داره میره جلو، ما نمیتونیم از دنیا عقب بمونیم. حداقل به عنوان یک ایرانی، یک کشور در حال توسعه، میتونیم قدم‌های خودمون رو برداریم. من حداقل پیشنهادی که برای شروع، چون حداقل شما الان ریاست دانشگاه رو از یه طرف بر عهده دارین، از یه طرف دیگه همیشه من حداقل تا اون ترم یک و ترم آخری که با شما کلاس داشتم در مورد تکنولوژی به نوعی سر کلاس صحبت می‌کردیم و از اهمیتش میگفتیم، چون همراه این که ما داریم زبان رو یاد میگیریم، تکنولوژی داره با اون تو همه جای جهان جلو میره. الان نکن پاندمی که شد، در واقع تکنولوژی و اینترنت و در واقع کلاس‌های مجازی ما رو نجات داد که ما رو به هم دیگه متصل کنه. من فکر میکنم که اگه دانشگاه به نوعی بتونه یک برنامه‌ای برگزار کنه، این جاهایی که در واقع کشورهای دیگه، دانشگاه‌های دیگه معمولاً دعوت میکنن از دانشجوها که ایده‌های خلاقانه بدن. حالا مثلا ما دانشکده زبان ادبیات هستیم، مانورمون بیشتر روی زبانه، که چگونه میتونیم به یه طریقی زبان رو توی آموزش آنلاین، توی آموزش مجازی، توی ویرچوال ریالیتی، توی این که مثلا بتونیم توی خونه هامون بشینیم با یه اینترنت خیلی محدود ولی یه پلتفرم خیلی متفاوت‌تر یا یه نوع پرزنتیشن خیلی متفاوت‌تر بتونیم خودمون رو به دیگر کشورها برسونیم. یا مثلا الان من میدم ویرچوال ریالیتی تقریبا یه 30-40 تا نوع داره، یعنی همیشه این نیست که ما بتونیم اون ابزار رو توی کشور خودمون داشته باشیم. الان پلتفرم‌های مختلف نسخه آزمایشی دارن که ما بتونیم یه نوع جدیدی از ارائه ها رو ارائه بدیم. همیشه مثلا لازم نیست ما داخل اسکای روم بخوایم برگزار کنیم. من میدونم که گوگل میت انقدر آپدیت های جدید داده که الان توی ویدیوهایی که شما گذاشته بودین دیدم که خود در واقع رئیس فیسبوک و خیلی از کارمنداش مجازی دور یک میز نشسته بودن و اینا دارن تو خونه صحبت میکنن، ولی حالت مجازی یه جوریه که دور میز نشستن، یه تخته وایت بوردی وجود داره و حس خیلی نزدیکی نسبت به اون در واقع واقعیت مجازی به خودشون دارن. الان گوگل میت همش آپشنی اضافه کرده، حداقل الان ترایلش هست. من پیشنهاد میکنم که اگه دانشگاه مثلا بتونه یک برنامه‌ای در واقع برگزار کنه یا یک کالی بذاره که از دانشجوها بخواد ایده های خلاقانه یا نوآورانه در مورد زبان بدن که ما چگونه میتونیم توی آموزش مجازی یا ویرچوال ریالیتی خودمون رو به دنیاهای دیگه برسونیم، مثل تدیکس در واقع تدیکس تاک باشه، بچه‌ها بیان ارائه بدن یا ایده های نوشون رو بگن، یه داوری در واقع انجام بشه و اینکه این ایده ها تو دانشکده خودمون پیاده سازی بشه، یعنی خودمون به خودمون کمک میکنیم اون ایده هایی که در واقع دانشجوها دارن، اساتید در واقع اون راه حلایی که میتونن بپسندن، میدونن حداقل بودجه برای این وجود داره، ما توی دانشکده خودمون اجرا کنیم. من به نظرم اولین قدمی که حداقل میتونیم برداریم با توجه به این صحبتایی که شد، صرفا الان میدونم اطلاعات خیلیامون از متاورس بالا رفته، ولی اینکه چگونه بتونیم اولین قدممون رو به عنوان یک استاد یا یک دانشجو یا فردی که داریم توی این دانشگاه تحصیل میکنیم یا تدریس میکنیم برداریم. به نظر من اینکه مجموعه گفتگو یا سخنرانی حالت تدیکس برگزار بشه تو همین سالن خیام و از بچه‌ها خواسته بشه که چطوری میتونن که آموزش‌های مجازی رو به نوعی همون متاورس رو به دنیای خود دانشگاه ما بیارن، اما از اون جهتی که ما محدودیت داریم مثلا وارد بشن. مثل حالا در واقع حالا نمیدونم شنیده باشید، مثل استارتاپ ویکندایی که توی کشورهای مختلف برگزار میشه، دعوت میکنن از افراد مختلف، از آرتیستا، آدمای خلاق، برنامه‌نویسا، افرادی که اصلا تو تمامی رشته‌های مختلف هستن، بیان ایده‌های مختلف بذارن. 10 تا ایده، 5 تا ایده به عنوان ایده مثلا برگزیده انتخاب میشه، حالا مثلا یا به اونا فاند میدن یا حداقل این ایده رو تو دانشگاه عملی میکنن. حالا من یه پیشنهاد صرفا داشتم با توجه به این در واقع رویدادهایی که خودمون تو ایران میذاشتیم. ما در واقع کی بود؟ یه هولوش 6 سال پیش بود، استارتاپ ویکند علم تهران رو اولین بار تو آسیا گذاشتیم. از خیلی از آرتیست‌ها دعوت کردیم، افرادی که خلاقن، افرادی که برنامه‌نویسن، اونایی که تو حوزه زبان کار کردن، فیزیک کار کردن، تمامی حوزه‌ها بیان جمع بشن، ایده هاشون رو ارائه بدن. اسپانسرهای خیلی بزرگی جمع کردیم. فقط کوچیک بودن، مثلا ایده هاشون عملی شد، الان تبدیل شده به یک بازار خرید خیلی بزرگ که فکر کنم کسی نبوده تو این در واقع لیست کاربری که اینجا من میبینم از دیجیکال خرید نکرده باشه. به نظرم همچین چیزی رو میشه اجرا کرد، حداقل به عنوان چیزی که ما بتونیم این رو به عنوان عملی توی دانشکده خودمون صرفا به خاطر اینکه به دنیاهای دیگه نزدیک باشیم، به دانشگاه دیگه نزدیک باشیم عملی کنیم. فکر کنم خیلی شروع خوبی باشه که این اینیشیتیو عملی بخواد انجام بشه، حداقل اولین قدماش بخواد جلو بره.
بله، بسیار عالی آقای جعفری، خیلی پیشنهاد خوبیه. من که خودتون میدونید دیگه تو این بحثا که خیلی علاقه‌مندم خودمم و باشه، اصلا خودتون میتونید یه روز بیایید پیش من بشینیم با هم فکر کنیم ببینیم چی کار بکنیم و انجام بدیم. خیلی عالی، بسیار پیشنهاد عالیه. منم خیلی استقبال میکنم. به همین سادگی ها که شاید نباشه ولی باید شروع کرد، نباید دست رو دست گذاشت و منتظر کسی بود. باید با کمترین امکانات، با یه سوی امیدم که بود باید به دنبالش رفت، نباید رها کرد تا بالاخره به یه جایی رسید.
فاوندیشن اف سیویلیزیشن این عبارتی بود که توی فیلم ارایوال اصلا گفته شد. به نظر اولین قدمش گفتگوه، حالا هر چی باد ولی واقعا به نظرم خیلی شروع خوبیه که حداقل اگه کاری هم جلو نرفت اینه که همه افراد آگاه بشن که کجای دنیا حداقل ما هستیم و چقدر خودمون رو میتونیم توی حداقل این قضیه آموزش و این رشدایی که میتونیم سر کلاس خودمون داشته باشیم، پرزنتیشن عادی که داریم تو سالهای آینده یک قدم جلوتر رفت. فکر کنم این یه قدم باشه رو به جلو، حتی اگه کوچیک باشه. خیلی ممنون دکتر بدخشان، واقعا
خواهش میکنم. بسیار عالی، خیلی متشکرم، ممنون. آیه دکتر چمن‌آرا دوست داریم صدای شما رو هم بشنویم. آیه دکتر چمن‌آرا خیلی متشکر از کامنتتون، ولی دوست داشتیم نظر شما رو هم بشنویم اگه امکانش باشه براتون. Okay, thank you. You're welcome, دکتر چمن‌آرا. ممنونم. خب اگه کامنتی، سوالی، چیزی نیست، چون خیلی طول کشید دیگه نمیخوام سرتون رو درد بیارم. من خودم واقعا خسته میشم، یعنی در این خصوص ساعتها هم صحبت کنم، ولی خب به هر حال دیر وقته. از همگی متشکرم، لطف دارید همه. واقعا مطلب واقعا زیاد بود، ولی خب چون یه جورایی جدیده و یه جورایی ارائهشون راحت نیست، حالا من سعی خودم کردم، امیدوارم که مفید بوده باشه. خب اگه دوستان سوالی یا کامنتی ندارند، همگی رو به خدای بزرگ می سپارم و متشکرم از اینکه شرکت کردید در این وبینار. خدایا رو نگهدار همگی و خسته نباشید. خدا حافظ.